What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today, we've got another live fantasy football mock draft for you back on ESPN with a 12-team full PPR mock where we will be selecting from the 4th overall pick. Should be pretty interesting. Just a little bit more until this thing kicks off. And while we wait, a quick reminder, if you guys enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear in the comment section. Do you agree, disagree? What do you think of the team, of the draft itself? Along with any other questions you guys might have, we will do our best to answer them all. But with that being said, let's take a look at the draft. The first pick has been made. It is Justin Jefferson, who ESPN happens to rank as their number 1 guy. Christian McCaffrey goes at number 2. I like to see that. Running back Love. I would have loved to have gotten him at number 4, but it's okay. No worries there. I imagine this next pick will be Austin Eckler. And then we're going to be off to the races. We're going to have our choice of guy, and it'll probably be between a Bijan Robinson and a pass catcher. Now, the way that we've done these mock drafts on ESPN a bunch now, we know that the algorithm prioritizes, well, not algorithm, but their rankings prioritizes the wide receiver position. So there is something to be said about taking Cooper Kupp here. But I'm going to throw caution to the wind a little bit. I'm going to go with Bijan Robinson, a rookie running back that I believe in. And we're going to see what happens here. I imagine we're going to see a lot of pass catchers go. Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, obviously, all those guys. I don't anticipate we're going to have a CeeDee Lamb or, a Garrett Wilson available to us. I could see guys like a Josh Jacobs or Nick Chubb falling to us at the end of the second round. We'll see. That's why we do these mock drafts. I would have felt really good if, again, Christian McCaffrey, Eckler had fallen to us. That was my preferred choice. But, if you find yourself in a situation like this, you basically have to decide whether you're going to select that next wide receiver, even though I don't think 2 wide receivers should be going in the top 4. If it is that case, I would argue for Cooper Kupp ahead of Jamar Chase. If you think you are in that camp, I think in full PPR scoring, Cooper Kupp edges out Jamar Chase, obviously assuming full health and all those things. But I also like Bijan Robinson. I think he's right there close to that tier 1 group of running backs, which is McCaffrey and Austin Eckler. And then afterwards, you've got your Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley's, guys like that. So kind of as we predicted, this first round had a lot of pass catchers. We were in the minority. I mean, we have only seen 4 running backs go in this first round. They were McCaffrey, Austin Eckler when we took Bijan, and then Derrick Henry, surprisingly, with the 8th pick overall. Actually, very surprising considering this is full PPR. And, it's a situation where you have guys like Taylor, Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard still on the board. Yeah, that one doesn't make too much sense to me. These other picks, let's kind of look through the pick history here. So after Jefferson, McCaffrey, Eckler, Bijan Robinson, you saw Travis Kelce go with the 5th pick overall. A little bit too rich for my blood personally. Jamar Chase 6th, then Cooper Kupp 7th. Followed by Derrick Henry. I don't like that Derrick Henry pick in a full PPR league. I think he should be a 2nd-round pick. Then Tyreek, CeeDee Lamb, Stephon Diggs, A.J. Brown. I also don't like A.J. Brown this early on either. I think he's more standard suited. That's just my 2 cents on the situation. And, when you compare him to guys like Devontae Adams and Amon-Ra St. Brown, I would rather have them. 2nd round kicked off with Nick Chubb. I was hoping he could potentially fall to us. That doesn't happen. And then our first kind of big, shocking pick, Josh Allen. Josh Allen, folks, should not be going 14th overall. Please, for the love of God. And as soon as I say that, we have Patrick Mahomes being drafted with the 8th pick in the 2nd round. But, okay, it is what it is. Here, we're in a situation where I think Garrett Wilson is a pretty good value. I know I'm going to be able to get either a Joe Mixon or a Ramondre Stevenson in the 3rd round. So I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson, a guy at the wide receiver position that I believe in, a guy that I think with Aaron Rodgers could have a breakout season. If it wasn't Garrett Wilson, I would have gone Tony Pollard. He's my next highest ranked running back. But Garrett Wilson was, I think, too good to pass up, honestly. Jalen Waddle also would have been a solid choice, the number 2 opposite Tyreek Hill. I think there's going to be weeks where he outproduces Tyreek like we saw last year. It just, again, do you believe in Tua staying healthy? But let's break down the second round of this draft because we saw some insanity here, folks. So Nick Chubb, that's totally fine. No issues there. Josh Allen, I don't care if he's a tier 1 quarterback. You don't select a quarterback that early on in the second round. To me, you should not be selecting a quarterback before the third round. And honestly, if it's me, I would still rather be prioritizing running back and wide receiver. I would feel perfectly fine with a guy like a Joe Burrow or a Justin Herbert instead and not have to pay up a third-round pick for a Jalen Hurts, a Patrick Mahomes. But we're back on the clock here, and we kind of get our wish. We got Garrett Wilson, we got Bijan, and now we can go either Joe Mixon or Ramondre Stevenson. We can also go Breece Hall, but, injury factor, I've already got Garrett Wilson. I'm going to go Ramondre Stevenson here, some pass-catching upside. Hopefully, he continues the pace that he was on last year. But let's continue to look at these players that were selected in the second round. After Josh Allen went 14th overall, Saquon, Jonathan Taylor dropped to 15th and 16th overall. That is insane. That is absolute insanity. Shame on you, ESPN, for having this as a possibility. I don't think that should be the case whatsoever. These guys are top 5 running backs. They belong in the first round. But kudos to the people that were able to land them. Devontae Adams and Amon-Ra St. Brown in the middle point of the second. Sure, Josh Jacobs, 19th overall, okay. Patrick Mahomes, a pick that, again, I don't think should have been made that early. Then we went Garrett Wilson. We benefited from the fact that some running backs had dropped and people reached on quarterback. Jalen Waddle then, followed by Tony Pollard. And then Jalen Hurts. Again, I don't like We had 3 quarterbacks go in the second round. That's insane. That should not happen. In the third round, Devonta Smith, DK Metcalf, 2 guys that I'm not super high on, so I'm happy that happened. It allowed us to get either a Ramondre Stevenson or a Joe Mixon like we were talking about. Breece Hall went immediately afterwards, after our pick of Stevenson. Okay, I'm fine with that. If you are somebody that is, risk averse, then Breece Hall might not be on your radar considering he's coming off the injury. I love the Chris Olave pick, 30th overall. Then we see T. Higgins, Joe Mixon, 32. I think Joe Mixon in the third round is a good value. Say what you will about him. Lamar Jackson, oh my gosh. We are going quarterback heavy in this draft. Lamar and Joe Burrow in the third round. Jesus, we are going to have some good value picks in this fourth round. Najee Harris, Aaron Jones, then Joe Burrow to round out the third round. In the fourth, Christian Watson, Kenneth Walker, Amari Cooper, and Jahmyr Gibbs, Dameon Pierce, Rashad White. So a run on the running backs. Glad that we got our guys in Bijan and Ramondre. Now Mark Andrews just went. So we're in a situation where, I really like what we're working with here. I like Keenan Allen at the end of the fourth round as far as PPR picks are concerned. I like Miles Sanders as a guy. I like TJ Hawkinson. Let's see if TJ Hawkinson can fall to us in the fifth round. If TJ Hawkinson falls to us in the fifth round, I'll be pretty happy about that. Calvin Ridley is also somebody that I like. So I'm going to stock up on just best player available at this point in time. Let's see. I'm really curious what happens with these next 5 selections. And, we see Miles Sanders go. So we're not going to get our third running back, but that's all right. I think we did a really good job with our first 2 choices. And, wow, the run on quarterbacks continues. Boy, oh boy. People here are sipping on something, I'll tell you that. Justin Herbert going with the 11th pick in the fourth round. Deontay Johnson. So we're guaranteed to get one of these wide receivers that we really, really like. or potentially TJ. Ooh, there goes Calvin Ridley. So spoke too soon. Calvin Ridley not available, but that is okay. We're going to still be able to land, hopefully, a TJ Hawkinson. We'll see. If he's not there, we can pivot. No worries. Or we can actually take a quarterback when they should go and not in the first 4 rounds. Throwing some shade at the other drafters here. Justin Fields, high upside guy at the quarterback position. High rushing upside. Makes sense as a selection. At running back, I don't want to take James Conner, Alexander Madison here in the 5th round. I'd rather go elsewhere. But I think we get pretty lucky here. TJ Hawkinson is still on the board. I also personally really like George Kittle. I think he's a really good value. But let's go with TJ Hawkinson. I believe in him. I think he's a good value in the 5th round. So I'm going to go in that direction. We've got our starting tight end. And then, in the next round, we can figure something else out. I imagine Justin Fields will be gone. He was one of these other potential targets, but let's see where he goes. If we can land a difference maker at the quarterback position. I want to look at the pick history again here with these last couple of selections. So, yeah, after we went Keenan Allen, I don't agree with that Justin Herbert pick that early. There goes Justin Fields. Yeah, see, this is what I mean. That's a more appropriate pick for one of these top quarterbacks. The end of the 5th round. I'm okay paying that price for Justin Fields when you're considering his rushing upside, but not Josh Allen with the 14th pick overall, right? Come on. After our TJ Hawkinson pick, you saw Chris Godwin, Alexander Madison, Darren Waller. I like the Madison pick if the Vikings don't add another veteran running back. Darren Waller, DJ Moore, I like the upside pick there. DeAndre Hopkins, I hate that pick simply because he is still not on a team, folks. And that is going to mean so much to this whole situation. Then Justin Fields, like we mentioned, Cam Akers, J.K. Dobbins, Isaiah Pacheco. Interesting. I would have rather had James Conner. Let me make double checks to make sure that he's still available. He is. Okay, interesting. We're probably going to be in a situation where we might be kicking ourselves a little bit that we went TJ Hawkinson instead of doing Justin Fields and then George Kittle. But let's see. Let's see how this thing plays out. There goes James Conner, a guy that I would have been targeting. Unfortunate. Drake London, Mike Evans. So it seems like the top players are kind of being taken off the board. Let's see what happens with these next 2 picks, because depending on the situation, there's a couple guys that I have circled here. Ooh, Deshaun Watson. Ooh, Marquise Brown. Okay, Marquise Brown was our other guy that we were looking at. I didn't get a chance to mention it, but I like the upside. So instead of what we're going to do here, I'm going Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to get our quarterback. We waited until the 6th round. I think we landed a high upside quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. Again, we could have gone Justin Fields in the prior round and then have gotten George Kittle now. I think you could argue that we could stack some tight ends here, folks. We could go George Kittle and TJ Hawkinson, get real spicy, get real wild. But Alvin Kamara as a guy in the 7th round with huge upside, he's kind of calling my name. I also probably would have to guess, ooh, wow. I was going to say George Kittle gets selected prior to Alvin Kamara, but that didn't happen. Okay. So now 2 picks until our next selection. What do we do? We're in an interesting place. Treylon Burks, I hate that pick. He is on my do not draft list. And Brendan Ayuk just went. I like Michael Pittman, but ooh, I kind of want to hoard some tight ends here, folks. I really like George Kittle. I'm high on George Kittle. It's between him and Michael Pittman. I mean, technically, we still have Kittle as a flex guy. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take George Kittle here. I think we can find later wide receiver value. An unorthodox start to this, or I should say pairing in this draft with Hawkinson and Kittle. Two, I would argue, top 5 tight ends. So let's see how that pans out. But I don't mind it, honestly. I like both these guys. So that's kind of our starting roster in a nutshell. We've got Trevor Lawrence, Bijan, Ramondre Stevenson, Garrett Wilson, Keenan Allen, TJ Hawkinson, and then George Kittle. I would have taken Alvin Kamara, I will be transparent with you, if he had not been selected over George Kittle. I was hoping guys like, I'm looking at some other running backs had fallen to us, maybe a Miles Sanders earlier on. He was definitely tempting, but right now I think we're in a situation where we can just go best player available at wide receiver and or running back. Let's see if there's any running backs here that are left that are just really, really good values. I think Samaje Perine is a sneaky good value this year, especially with the health of Javonte Williams in that knee. Dalvin Cook, I'm just fully out on Dalvin Cook this year. I don't think he's going to find a situation that's better than what he had in Minnesota. Wide receiver, Michael Thomas is somebody that's tempting. Jordan Addison I actually really, really like. Opposite Justin Jefferson, I think, Samaje Perine. We got sniped on Samaje Perine. Okay. We've got some savvy running back drafters here, but it's okay. We knew we were going to pay the price a little bit. When we drafted 2 tight ends, we got a little bit cute with it. I was hoping we could have landed James Conner. We didn't. Oh, well. As far as upside is concerned, I like Jordan Addison. Might take a shot on Michael Thomas. Jahan Dotson just went. Kirk Cousins, Brennan Cooks. So we've got 2 picks until our next selection. I would imagine Michael Thomas is selected with one of these next picks. Running back again. I don't love the situation with Samaje Perine now gone. So we can, I guess Brian Robinson or Jamal Williams would be my next highest ranked dudes. But other than that, no thank you. There's still some really good value at tight end left. Again, we probably reached with George Kittle, but it was pretty tempting, I'm not going to lie. So I just went for it. At wide receiver here, we are going with Jordan Addison, like I mentioned. A guy that I really like on my bench. I think he's going to be somebody that has success as the year progresses. And then we're going to make one more pick here because we've gotten to the point where there's a lot of auto picks, things like that. And we've got the bulk of our roster kind of put together. So, I'll probably go, again, wide receiver or running back here. It just matters what happens with these other 5 picks that are before us. So I think that, if I went running back, it would probably be Jamal Williams. Brian Robinson is in a committee with Antonio Gibson, so I don't really love that situation. At quarterback, we already got Trevor Lawrence. We don't have to look at that, even though I think Aaron Rodgers is an absolute steal. Tight end, Dalton Schultz is an absolute steal at this point in time. There went Jamal Williams. There went our potential, running back sleeper. Gerald Everett, Greg Dulcich, I really like both of them as well. So, yeah, the double tight end stack was unnecessary, but, potential trade bait, etc. You could kind of rationalize it that way. So let's make one last selection. It'll be a wide receiver just because I think the value is better there right now than any other position. So I'm looking at it and I'm leaning probably an Alan Lazard maybe, opposite Garrett Wilson. But yeah, I don't want to stack too many New York Jet guys. So George Pickens isn't a bad value. I just don't believe in that offense. Let's go with Quinn Johnston in case something happens to Keenan Allen. I like that. I like the high upside rookie. So we get a couple high upside rookies that we believe in. We know Mike Williams, Keenan Allen have been injury prone, so getting some depth there. I like that situation. And we kind of wrap this thing up with those last 2 picks. So let's give this a quick grade. Our running back position could be deeper. That's my main concern here. But we got 2 top guys in Bijan and Ramondre Stevenson. And I think we got a good mix of wide receivers with Garrett Wilson, Keenan Allen, Jordan Addison, and Quinn Johnston. Tight end, TJ Hawkinson, George Kittle. Again, we got cute there. So I'll take off some marks there. I think probably we're in like the B- range, C+ range, all things considered. But hey, I had fun with this one. Let me know your thoughts. Did you agree, disagree, along with any other questions you guys might have? I'll do my best to answer them all. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe. Give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys in future